Hey guys, excited to have you join me for another workout here on the channel at home. So you might use some weights for this. You might have some little hand weights that you have, or maybe grab a couple of cans or water bottles out of the cupboard, or you can do this with no weights. You're still going to get an amazing workout even without any weights at all. So you might like to pause the video and just organize whatever you want to here. And then when you're ready, we're just going to come to bring the feet about hip width or slightly wider apart, rolling the shoulders away from the ears, bringing the hands into a prayer position, and we're dropping down into a squat. Then we're pressing into the heels to come to standing, lifting the right knee up towards the elbow and then back through the center and switching sides. So we are finding that length up into the spine. You're keeping the core engaged the whole time. You're dropping down into your squat, lifting the toes up, so you're really placing your weight down into the heels. And we are lifting that knee up, bringing it towards the elbow, breathing deeply, keeping length into the spine the whole time. I want your head to be in the same line as the rest of your back. Just a twist through the waist here, so keeping the pelvis neutral. The knees are not going wider than or more further forward than the toes. So it's really, really important to sit back into your squat here. We're not letting those knees roll inward, making sure the knees are pointing straight ahead or slightly out to the sides. Awesome. Coming back through center here, take a moment. Roll the shoulders up, release the shoulders down. Bringing the feet out a little bit wider, about more like shoulder width or even wider apart. We're turning the toes slightly out, heels in. And I want you to bring the hands back to that prayer position, dropping down into your sumo squat here. And then pressing back to standing. So you're lengthening up from the inner thighs, drawing all the way up, coming back. And then we're staying down in our squat and we're starting to come over to bring the arm down to one side, then the other, and then pressing back up through center. So you're staying in that squat, you're sitting down nice and low, staying into those heels, shoulders away from the ears, keeping that length into the spine the whole time. We're not locking the elbows here, so keeping a soft bend into the elbow. And you're starting to kind of do a slight little punch down towards each leg as you come down and pressing one way, then the other, lengthening up, drawing up from the pelvic floor all the way up to the top of the head as you press up to standing, squeezing into those inner thighs. We're working the outer thighs, we're working the glutes, we're working the full body today. You're probably already sweating. I know that I am. So we're here for a short time, but we're here to get results in the fastest possible time frames. Awesome. So this is all about efficiency. Cool. Coming all the way back through standing, bringing those feet out, keeping them out to about shoulder width or slightly wider, toes turned out, heels turned in, hands come through that prayer position, relaxing the shoulders down. You're starting to just hinge out towards that right side and then the left. So you're just bending the right knee and then bending the left knee, keeping the pelvis neutral, keeping the length into the spine here. And we're just doing a little kind of rock from side to side with this, keeping the belly button to spine, breathing deeply, coming back through center, staying here and straightening the legs and sitting back down into that little sort of half squat. This time I want you to rock from side to side and just kind of flow from side to side with this. So doing the same movement, but you're just sort of flowing the pelvis from side to side, making sure you're finding that breath. Breathing deeply in, fully out, making this a really nice organic sort of smooth movement from side to side, warming up through the hips, warming up into those legs. Beautiful work. Breathing in, breathing out. Coming back through center, sitting down into that squat here, sumo squat, and then lengthening back up, pressing into the heels to come to standing. Beautiful. Just facing those toes forward this time. So we're bringing the toes to be forward. We've still got our feet about shoulder width apart, rolling the shoulders back away from the ears. You're just starting to lengthen the pelvis out behind you and you're hinging forward at the hips. Arms come down and we are just starting to row. So rowing back, using those elbows to press back behind you. So the elbows are nice and close and you are squeezing into the biceps here, not locking the elbows as you bring the arms down. So you've got a little micro bend into those elbows. Length is through the back of the neck. Your head is in the same line as the rest of your back. Navel to spine, softness into the knees, so you're not locking those knee joints. Awesome. And then pressing back to standing, row it up, and then pressing back to standing and hinging forward, row, pressing back to standing and coming forward and row. Keep that going. So we're starting to really bring the whole body into this, squeezing into those glutes to come to standing, making sure you're placing your weight into the heels so that the toes can kind of lift up or wiggle through those toes to make sure that you're really using the glute muscles, the back of the legs here, keeping length into the spine, breathing in, breathing out, keeping that breath flowing freely. Beautiful work. Bringing the mind to the muscles we're working. We're working the arms. We're working the glutes. We're working everything today. Beautiful work. Okay, coming back through center, guys. We're going to bring the feet a little bit closer this time. You can have them together or maybe sort of more hip width apart. We're bringing the hands together in prayer and shoulders down and away from the ears. Just coming down into a little squat here. And we're just starting to step one foot out and then the other. So staying in that squat. Trying to keep the pelvis as neutral as you can. So hips are pointing straight ahead. And you're trying to keep everything really still and stable through that center line. So keeping the belly button to spine. Head is in a neutral position. You've got length through the back of the neck. Your shoulders are relaxed. And stepping it out. Just toe tapping out to one side, then the other. Drawing up from that pelvic floor. We're really, really working into that whole pelvic area here as well. So lengthening up, we're going to come back up to standing. Good job. All right. Next, we're going to come back down into that little squat here. And then we're going to start to step the right toes out and the left arm out, and then the left toes out and the right arm out. So just sort of alternating from side to side. This takes a little bit of coordination as well, so it's really, really good for the mind to stay present in the moment, which is super important. Lowering any stress out of the body. At the same time, we're toning, we're sculpting, we're burning fat. We are increasing in the metabolism. Keep it going, guys. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Not locking the elbow as you bring the arm out and coming back through center, pressing up to standing. Great job. All right, shake it out. Let's come to bring the feet about sort of hip width apart, toes are pointing forward, and we're just squatting back down into our squat here, bringing the hands together in prayer, and you're just stepping the toes out and then coming back through center and stepping the other toes out, coming back through center. So we're alternating from side to side. It's like you're dipping your toes into a pool of water here, staying in that squat. So you can be into quite a low squat here, or you can be a little bit higher up, just into a little tiny semi-squat. Just making sure the knees are not coming forward of the toes. Really, really important to protect the knee joints here. Take a break, release down, allow the head and neck to go, arms float down, ragdoll. Maybe even nodding the head yes, shaking the head no, lifting the pelvis up towards the ceiling, relaxing here. So good, you guys. Beautiful. Breathing in, breathing out. And then just staying in that fold, walking the hands over towards the right foot. And then coming back through center and walking the hands over towards the left foot. And back through center. And just let it all go here. And then just coming all the way up, rolling the spine, coming back up through to standing. Awesome work. Grabbing hold of any weight that you have, if you have your weights there. Otherwise, of course, you don't need to. And then we're just going to bring the hands to the shoulders. So we're starting to come out in front and then pressing up. And then back to the shoulders, pressing forward, pressing up. So just keeping that going, and then we're going to start to bring a little squat into this. So as you start to press the arms forward, you're sitting down into a squat, and then standing up and lengthening the arms up, and then back to your squat. So arms are working, legs are working. If this is too much, you can just skip the squat part. Don't worry about it. You can just keep those arms going. Just making sure your knees are not coming forward of the toes with that squat. Awesome. Now we're just going to get into the back of those arms, into the triceps. So just maybe grabbing hold of just one of your weights, or you can use both. We want to lock those elbows in close towards the head. And we are just starting to lengthen and straighten those forearms up overhead. So keeping the elbows in tight, we're just squeezing into the back of the arms. This is a really, really good part to get into. We don't use those tricep muscles as often as we do some of the other muscles in the arms, so it's good to really target those. Beautiful. And then bringing the arms out into a T shape, palms facing down. We're starting to circle one way, just working through those shoulders. So thinking about really bringing the movement to the shoulders. And then I want you to flip the palms, and we're going to start to just do some bicep curls. So you're just squeezing in and lengthening out. So it's just hinging here at the elbow. You're really bringing your mind to those biceps, squeezing in and lengthening out. Then bringing the arms back to that T and letting the palms be down here. We're just alternating. So just letting the palm come up, and the other side we've got the palm down. So we're just alternating in that T shape. And beautiful work, releasing, bringing the arms all the way down here and taking a moment. We're going to come down onto the mat. We're going to stretch it out. So just bringing the left foot forward and the right leg back. And we're just taking a little moment here. You can release your weights down, finding length into the spine. The hips are nice and square to the front of the mat. Any movement here that feels good. Just making sure that the head and the neck and the rest of the back are in one nice long line. Then I want you to grab hold of one of your weights, and we're just bringing that in. We're just holding on to the weight, and we're going to start to open it out. So you're placing your left hand to the inside of the left foot. You grab hold of the right the weight on the right side, and we're just reaching up, looking up, and then coming back through center. So we're opening out to that right side and then coming back through center. Let the gaze follow the weight. So allowing an openness through that right side here. Then we're going to switch sides. So grabbing hold of the weight with the left hand, and we're starting to open out left, opening all the way up and back through center, opening out and back through center. Opening out, inhale, exhale, coming back down. Great job. Releasing the weight, just starting to hinge back at the hips, lifting the toes, allowing the head to gently fall down towards the leg as you allow the hands to frame that leg. Just letting the belly relax down. So good. Awesome. And then just coming all the way up, we're just coming to a lunge position. So we're coming to a nice low lunge here. The knee is in the same line as the ankle, rolling the shoulders up towards the ears, releasing the shoulders down. And then we're just starting to do a little press here. So you're pressing the arms up and then pressing forward and back and up, keeping this going. So finding that length through the whole back. Imagine that you're being drawn up by a string from the top of your head all the way to the ceiling. You've got engagement through the core. Nice and still and stable here through the pelvis. Now this time we're going to punch to either side. So you're punching one way and then the other. So just starting to twist through the waist, keeping the lower body nice and still and stable. Shoulders away from the ears, not locking into the elbows here as you punch, just keeping a little micro bend into those elbows. Awesome work. And release, bringing the knees back to the center, and then we're coming back over to the other side. So just taking your weights, having them ready to go. So we're stepping the right foot forward and we're coming down to place the right hand on the inside of that right foot. You might bring the right foot out a little bit wider so you've got some space for the hips here, keeping the hips nice and square. Length through the whole spine, the back of the back of the neck, and then you are taking hold of your weight on that left side and just opening out to that left. So inhale, opening the heart, exhale, closing back up. Trying to keep the lower body nice and still and stable. Now switching sides with the weight, we're starting to bring the right arm up, lengthening up and back through center, and inhale, lengthening, exhale, back through center, keeping the hips nice and still, keeping the pelvis still, pressing those hips forward. Awesome. Coming back through center and starting to frame the foot as you start to lift the toes, press the hips back, and allow the head, the belly, everything to relax down onto that leg. Finding some nice deep cleansing breaths here. Inhale through the nose, exhale out the mouth, breathing deeply, relaxing down. Awesome. And then starting to come back to that low lunge here. Knee is in line with the ankle, and we're going to grab hold of our weights here. Both of the weights, finding that length through the spine, relaxing the shoulders down, and then bringing the hands to the shoulders, starting to press up, press forward, back through center, and just keep this going, pressing up and forward. So good. Using the shoulders to make all of this movement, not locking those elbows out, keeping the pelvis still and stable, breathing deeply, core is engaged. You're not tucking the pelvis, you're not putting the pelvis, the tailbone out. Now we're punching from side to side. Here we go. So punching out and back through center and the other way. So it's only twisting through the waist. We're not letting that pelvis move. Shoulders relaxed. Awesome. The lower body is keeping us stable here. The core needs to be strong and stable to stabilize this movement. Amazing. Now we're just going to come down to take a seat on our mat. Bringing the feet to the mat, knees are bent, holding on to behind the legs, finding length into the spine. And then as you exhale, just starting to round the spine, bringing the chin down towards the chest. And then as you inhale, lengthening up, looking towards the ceiling. Exhale, rounding the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, lengthening up, opening the heart towards the ceiling. Just keeping this going. Finding that cat-cow in this position, keeping the navel to spine, softness into the elbows. And then we're going to lengthen up and exhale, round the spine, chin to chest, slowly walking the hands down and releasing the back down onto the mat. We want to have the feet now about hip width apart, bringing one of the weights up overhead, and then you're going to bring the weight out in front of the heart center. Softness into the elbows, lengthening the arms up towards the ceiling, and then we're starting to lift up, lengthening the fingertips towards the inside of those legs and lowering back down. So it's just a little crunch up here. You can reach the arms up overhead as you come down, making sure there's some space between the chin and the chest. You're really bringing your mind to close the ribs, making sure that the entire time you're using your abdominal muscles to bring you up and lowering back down with control. So keeping everything nice and still and stable, keeping that pelvis in a neutral, and taking a moment here. Good job. All right, then we're going to just release that weight for a moment. You can grab hold of behind the legs, just lengthen the legs up towards the ceiling, maybe a bit of movement into the feet, circling the ankles, whatever feels good, and just reaching the arms back up overhead. Grabbing hold of that weight, we're going to bring the hands back out in front of the heart center, lengthening the fingertips up. You're just starting to come up into that crunch, and we're just doing little pulses up. So starting to pulse up, using your abdominal muscles to lift you, making sure that you're not bringing any tension into the back of the neck, just using the core muscles, breathing in, breathing out, keep that breath going. Awesome work. And lowering back down, bringing the hands overhead, releasing that weight. This time I want you to start to lower the legs. We're doing a leg lower down and then driving back up. So inhale, lowering down, exhale, power back up. Inhale, lowering down with control, exhale, power it up. Inhale, lowering down, exhale, power back up, using those low abdominal muscles here to drive this movement, keeping the whole spine down, not letting that pelvis lift. So we're keeping the pelvis quite still. We're keeping the lower back on the mat. We're lowering down. We're powering back up. We're using the core here to create this movement. We are really burning belly fat. We are speeding the metabolism. We're doing all the good things here today in this workout. Awesome. Keeping the legs extended, just bringing the arms down by your sides. You can just find a little bicycle here with the legs. So we're just starting to lengthen one leg as we bend the other knee in, and then switching sides. Keeping both of the shoulders down on the mat, length through the back of the neck. You're looking up straight towards the ceiling. If you want to make this harder, you can lift the head and shoulders off the mat. We're just bicycling the legs in one direction and then switching to the other direction, starting to go backward with this. So just starting to really use the lower abdominal muscles to work through here. And then take a break, hug it in, breathing in as you hug the knees towards the heart center. Exhale as you relax the belly, the pelvis, the feet, the back of the shoulders. Inhale, blowing the belly up like a balloon with the breath, and then exhale, 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 relaxing down. Beautiful work. Bringing the feet down onto the mat, about hip width apart. We're going to come to a bridge here. So just starting to find length through the back of the neck. You're lifting the pelvis up towards the ceiling, lifting, lifting, lifting. And we're just doing some tiny little pulses up. So it's a very small lift up and down. Keep it going, keeping the pelvis in a neutral. We're really squeezing into those glutes and the back of the legs. And then we're going to start to come up, all the way up and lower to halfway, and then back up again, squeezing up and back to halfway. So it's a half range at the top. Making sure your weight's even through both sides of the feet, making sure that you are really, really working into the muscles we're working here. Now we're going to start to bring the pelvis down to just about touch the mat, but then coming up to that halfway point. So it's the low end of the range here that we're working. So it's lowering down and then squeezing up to that halfway point. And then full range, coming all the way up. We're going to start to peel the tailbone as we start to lift, lift, lift all the way up as high as you can. Exhale, rolling the spine vertebra by vertebra all the way back down. Pelvis arrives last. Inhale, coming all the way up, pressing up evenly through both sides. Exhale, rolling the spine from the top of the spine all the way back down. Pelvis comes down last. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, release as you come down. So good, you guys. Inhale, coming all the way up. See if you can lift up even higher. Exhale, releasing down. So good. And inhale, coming up and staying up. Let's pulse it at the top here. Keep it going. We're nearly done with the workout. We're finishing strong. And release. Well done. Coming all the way down onto your belly. Great job. You can bring your feet about sort of mat width apart and bringing the arms out to a T shape, out to a cactus shape. And then we're just bringing the right fingertips or the right palm down onto the mat, and you're starting to press into that hand to lift up through that side so that we find a little bit of a stretch through the other side shoulder. Doing the same on the left side. So you're just lifting up and lowering down, and then just lengthening both arms out long, legs go long. You've got your gaze straight down at the mat as you lift your forehead up off the mat. We're doing a little swimmer here, so you're just alternating between the legs. You can go as fast as slow or slow as you want to here, keeping everything nice and still and stable. Gaze is straight down. Inhale, exhale, keep it going. Inhale, exhale, and release. Well done. Coming all the way back down, pressing into the palms as you roll the spine and allow the pelvis to come up, releasing here. You've done so well today, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this workout. Full body workout. We're doing all the good things. Can't wait to see you again at our next class.